Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Madoka Magica, episode 10. Uh, Took me a while to record it, on Patreon at least. You guys on YouTube will get it right on schedule. But my Patreon supporters unfortunately had to wait a fair bit for it. I was supposed to record it early, but alas, I have a job now, so I have less time to record, and the only day I was able to record it during the weekday, a day that wasn't a weekend, was Wednesday morning. But the entire Wednesday morning, my neighbors decided to drill my walls, and not even like keep drilling for an hour straight, but they would drill like 3 walls every half an hour, and that was completely and utterly maddening. And I didn't want all of that to be in the recording. Now it's night time, my preferable time to be recording things. I'm just a little bit groggy, woke up from a nap, but thanks to that, I'm refreshed. No one's gonna bother me. I can record Madoka in peace, and probably a couple more things I'm also gonna record today. But yeah, Madoka comes first. We are in the final stretch, episode 10, 11, and 12. I don't think there's episode 13. Might be mistaken though. But those 3 episodes at least are left. Today, episode 10 is what we're gonna be watching. And seeing how the previous episode went, with Sayaka's death being essentially sealed and her body removed from the witch's world, and then Kyoko giving her life, I still believe for little to no reason ultimately, but I see the poeticness of that, of her actions, of essentially mutual destruction. I can fully see this series going in the direction of just everybody dying, especially with Walpurgisnacht coming soon, and Homura being the only one to deal with that because all the other magical girls are dead. Kyoko probably would have been saved by Kyuubey, but Kyuubey really wants Madoka to become a Mahou Shoujo. And seeing how Homura is the only one who can protect the city from Walpurgisnacht, Madoka might have to become a Mahou Shoujo as well, or at least she will have um, another piece of a drive, right? Another thing that might drive her to being a Mahou Shoujo. There's the promise of a wish that could change everything. There's a promise of being able to save everybody. There's a promise of just being able to do good. And now there is also a threat of, if she doesn't do that, Homura might also die, and she might also die, and everybody might also die. So a lot of pressure on Madoka there, for a reason. Reason being, Kyuubey really wants Madoka to become a Mahou Shoujo, really wants to harvest those emotions to counter the heat death of universe, which is an amazing and ridiculous plot at the same time. I called the previous episode the trigger moment, because suddenly aliens is so very trigger. And in this case, yeah, suddenly aliens, and suddenly they have a larger than life, larger than world plot, right? The way life fibers in Kill la Kill, where they weren't just aiming to control the world, to destroy the world, to destroy humanity or whatever. No, the aim was to spread throughout the cosmos. In this case, the aim isn't to just cause grief to people or to harvest rare minerals for their civilization or whatever. No, the goal is again larger than life, larger than the world. The goal is to prevent the heat death of universe. It's not about saving the world, it's about saving all of existence. On a big time scale, because it will take millions, billions, trillions of years, but it's inevitable if current theories about space are to be believed. Because it could be heat death, it could be the Great Collapse, it could be whatever other way that our universe will end. Or it might just not end. I mean, that's also a possibility. We have no way of knowing for sure, really. Everything is just a theory, a space theory. So, all in all, the way it's going, I can see Homura dying in either this episode or the next one, and then Madoka using her wish to fix everything, essentially. That's my prediction. I don't know how accurate will it be. I know there are the movies. Rebellion is the title of the movie. Two movies? How many are there? I think one is already out and the other is coming soon-ish, something thereabouts. So rebellion implies a rebellion, probably against the incubators. And who's gonna rebel? Madoka alone? Probably not. It could be done, but Mahou Shoujo, where there's just a single magical girl, that's not all that common, is it? A cast of brand new characters? I don't think so. It would go against what we've learned throughout this series so far, that being a magical girl isn't that greatest, actually. So I have a feeling everybody's gonna be alive again thanks to Madoka's wish. Or some other shenanigans. Who can tell, really? Anything else? Right, I read the comments for the previous video, and some people corrected me in my beliefs of, in my perspective on Sayaka and Kyoko's relationship. Apparently, Kyoko was pretty much everywhere Sayaka was, and Kyoko saw herself in Sayaka and thus tried to help her, tried to save her from making the same mistakes that she did. And she formed a little bit of a camaraderie with her, very one-sided, but still. And when I look back at what's been going on, then yeah, Kyoko and Sayaka are very, very commonly like interacting and seen together. Kyoko very much comes off as a bit of a tsundere, but I mean that's a character trope at tsundere, so nothing more that needs to be said. But that only strengthens my belief that Madoka Magica perhaps should have been given just a little bit more time. Maybe not full two course, because we wouldn't want filler or just, useless episodes. Although I don't think anybody would create useless episodes for Madoka. If anything, they would fill them with something relevant. I'm almost out of hand lotion. But Madoka could have used like 20 episodes, maybe a little less, maybe like 16 or something. Because many of the things that you guys are telling me about in the comments, I can see them in retrospect, but things are going so fast and things are so dense that it doesn't have the time to sink in, right? I'm used to when two characters are growing connected or growing fond of each other, I'm used to that taking like 5 episodes of time. In this case, it took a few snippets of like 3 different episodes, so much denser, much faster. But I'm assuming on like the first, the second, the third rewatch, all those things are slowly but surely becoming clearer and clearer. Now, I think I said everything I needed to say. My new lighting, that's like one thing. I got a new light, it reflects in my glasses a little bit. Tell me how you like it, how you don't like it, I don't know. I'm gonna be trying to improve it. I'll try to buy like a piece of like a telescopic pole or something. I'm gonna mount it to my desk, and I'm gonna put this light on that so it's out of my field of vision and maybe doesn't reflect on my glasses. I don't know when, but I'm gonna do it eventually. So far, tell me if the light reflecting is distracting or whatever. But just a quick comparison with the light and with just my ring light. So yeah, let me know how you like it. There we go. And with that, we can finally start watching episode 10 of Madoka. Subs, you're gonna need them to sync up your own copy. Sound, I'm gonna need it to hear what's going on. And support. You can support the channel monetarily, Patreon, Throne, links in the description. On Patreon, you get early access to Madoka, Sympho Gear, Arifureta OVAs, other non-seasonal stuff. Maybe even to the Akiba Made. I don't know how I'm gonna release it. Maybe on Patreon, maybe on YouTube. There are some issues with copyright. We'll see about that. And if you don't want to spend any money but still want to help the channel, share my content, spread the word. It really does help a lot. A lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 10 of Madoka Magica in 3, 2, 1, go. Is it synced up? It is. Okay. Homura with glasses. Is it the original timeline? It's probably the original timeline. And I guess we're gonna see the emergence of Homura as a Mahou Shoujo. Oh, I see Sayaka and her love rival. Forgot her name in the background. That's nice that they were there in the background randomly. First name basis, right from the get-go. Yeah. Does Homura have a particular meaning in Japanese? Probably does. I mean, every single name in Japan has some actual meaning. When you look at the kanji or whatever. Oh, the camera tracking her her pen. Yeah, she's been a hikikomori. Okay, bedridden. Hello, Kyuubey. That's very much a Kyuubey atmosphere, isn't it? I didn't get that feeling from your day at school. Was her wish, I want to change or so? Oh, a witch. Of course, witches feeding all the negative thoughts, negative emotions. Yeah, it's no longer the bridge. You're in the witch world. Azadel? Sketches is the team Mami and Madoka? Pink. Pink is Madoka, right? Yellow is Mami. Yeah, Mami and Madoka. Didn't I have a theory noted down in my notebook that originally Homura was saved by Madoka the magical girl, and that's how she decided to become a Mahou Shoujo as well? Okay, but what wish did Madoka make? Yeah, but why? Because all this time, Madoka, the whole thing about her was that she doesn't have a wish. So what did she wish for? Walpurgisnacht. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so around the same time. Mami is dead. And now we are fighting the big boss of the Walpurgisnacht, I'm assuming. Very grizzled Madoka. There's a big, like, switch between Madoka and Homura. In this timeline, Madoka is the calm and grizzled one, and Homura is the one who's all emotional. In the current timeline, it's Madoka who's crying and laughing and being emotional, and Homura being the cold one. Although, that facade is crumbling at times. And Homura's wish is to turn back time, is to save Madoka, is to have none of that happen. Okay, I'm assuming we're seeing a parallel to how it's going to go in the main timeline, where it will be Homura laying there, lifeless, and Madoka crying over her, and Kyuubey giving her the wish. Let's hear it. Or are we not going to hear it? Okay. Okay, so that's the wish. And there goes your soul. The power of time. I mean, yeah, that was your wish. And this is your soul. Much happier, and she already knows. Uh, maybe don't. I mean, don't like talk about that stuff and don't show Madoka that you know her. What's that? That looks like a mm, golf club. Also, I love the effect on her beating up on this with time being stopped. It only moves when she hits it. So whenever she comes in contact with something, only then does the time move for that particular thing, which explains why she didn't want Kyoko to grab onto her. Oh, she's making grenades. Or should I say, pipe bombs. Okay, she will fight witches with the power of time and homemade arms. And what's that witch? And now we're seeing Mami's ribbons actually work as ribbons, not as guns. Yeah, is this witch based on like someone who's been stealing Serafuku from high school girls or something? There were some shots of like looking underneath the skirt, kinda sorta. Yeah, I mean, who knew grenades are effective against witches? Again, the same scenario. Similar. She's dying, but not fully dead. And her gem shatters and she becomes a witch. Joins the Walpurgisnacht. That's a cool effect. And the Groundhog Day back. Okay, so it works automatically whenever Madoka dies? Or does she have control over when she can go back in time? Okay, now Sayaka is also in the picture. And Madoka is not wrong. And that's how she's gonna make a gun, I'm assuming, or buy a gun. Or steal a gun. Yeah, stop time, steal gun. Or a katana, I guess that also works. Oh, I love this montage of her just stealing guns from Yakuza. And with the music. That is Sayaka. Okay, so it's not the first time that Sayaka has turned. Interesting. Again because of Kyosuke? Or why exactly? This is what happens with magical girls, alas. Um, excuse me, what the fuck? Okay, murder suicide. Sure, I guess that works. I did not suspect Mommy to do that. And now they both are dead. Or close to dying. Sounds like a plan. Something that Sayaka wanted to do. Oh, kinda sorta. Oh, she has a grief seed. Yeah. Okay, so that was Madoka's wish. Okay. Now that gives even more significance to what Homura is doing. It's not just her own, like, her own idea, her own want, desire to save Madoka. It's Madoka's last wish. Second to last, apparently. So, destroy my gem? Interesting that regular firearms are able to destroy soul gems. Okay, she fixed her eyes. Somehow. Like, reverted her eyes to how they were or something. Getting guns again from the same... No, not the same place. That's a military base, isn't it? Yeah. Just casually using an MG. No longer pipe bombs, now proper firearms and grenades. Cool gals don't look at explosions. Assuming it's possible. Okay, the music. That's the ending theme. Is it? No, we still have time. You can help. You can become a Mahou Shoujo Madoka. And the cinematic bars. Okay, and what made Homura go back this time? I'm guessing Walpurgisnacht is over. Okay, what happened to Madoka though? Did she die? Did she become a witch? Did she just break? Is this Madoka? Yeah, it is Madoka. Going back in time. Yep. Gonna Groundhog Day it. Yep. So, that complicates things. Because if Madoka becomes a Mahou Shoujo and fights Walpurgisnacht, then she becomes an even bigger threat than Walpurgisnacht. Okay. We got a lot of explanations, and we got insight into how it used to be. And this is the opening. I didn't notice that there wasn't the opening in this episode. Huh. The fact that we got the backstory on Homura really makes me believe she's gonna die in the next episode. But then again, Homura dying and Madoka becoming Mahou Shoujo and fighting Walpurgisnacht will just end like the previous timeline, with Madoka becoming a witch. Except now without Homura. Unless Homura, instead of dying, just goes back in time. I'm still not sure how it works. Is it automatic? Does she have to will to do that? Or... I will never depend on anyone again. Yeah, that's the decision she made. No, she just internalized it. One thing I have left to guide me. Madoka and her relationship. Uh, yeah, could be her feelings for Madoka. The one thing that can guide her. Hmm. Okay, we are gonna go through this episode again, but fuck. Stop. I wanna pull out my notebook. Hmm. Originally, Madoka became Meguka, died, then Homura became Meguka to rewind time, hop timelines, and save her. I guess we can safely say I was correct on this one. Okay. Why are there ants in my notes? I mean, ants are everywhere in the whole building. Honestly, the whole fucking building is infested with ants. Been trying everything to get rid of them. Nothing works, so I guess I'm kinda living with them now. I don't have to worry about crumbles on the floor. Okay. Uh, no, switch scenes. There we go. Let's go through it again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Akemi Homura. Glasses, shy girl, braids, the very stereotypical shy, withdrawn girl who doesn't have experience socializing, who doesn't have any friends, very bookish because spending time at hospital she probably only had books to fall back on. Very stereotypical. Oh, shut the fuck up. My Google Assistant on my phone apparently thought I'm saying something to her. I wonder which word triggers that from what I said. Oh well, cancel. Okay, Google, cancel. Whatever the fuck you were doing, cancel that. Okay. I thought the camera skipped a frame. I'm getting distracted. Homura. Very stereotypical, very... the epitome of a shy, bookish, nerdy girl, essentially. Also explains her alter form that I got in... what's the name called? Artery Gear. Artery Gear had a collab with Madoka Magica, and the welfare unit was Homura with glasses. I thought that's maybe something from the movie or something, or she dresses up like, I don't know, an alter ego because she needs to, I don't know, not be recognized or whatever. But no, this is the original Homura. Cool. Very interesting transformation, how she goes from this shy, bookish girl to the overbearing presence that she is nowadays. Because I think that genuinely describes Homura the best, her appearance, overbearing presence. Time itself bends to her will. How can you not call it an overbearing presence? I love this detail of Sayaka and her love rival, again, whose name I forgot, being in the background. Nice bit of detail. You would have expected just completely random people to be around, but no, those two are here because they go to the same school as Madoka, so of course they're gonna be there. Also, initially, I thought that this is just a ruse of some sort. That's what I thought. That for some reason Homura is pretending to be that shy, bookish girl and join Madoka's class, which in retrospect doesn't make sense because she's already in Madoka's class in her current free-flowing hair form without glasses. And also, why would she do that? That's another question. But my initial assumption was that we're just continuing from episode 9. No, we are going way, 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 way back, even before the beginning of the series. And yeah, Madoka became her first friend, essentially, on first name basis. That's how she got attached. That, hey, you're cool, your name is cool, and right, immediately a little bit of a rosy cheeks, and very much grew to like Madoka because of Madoka just being plain friendly. I mean, honestly, she didn't really go out of her way to befriend Homura. She's just friendly, and that alone was like a standout thing for for Homura. One thing I want to look up is Homura meaning. Homura meaning. What does Homura mean in Japanese? Homura is a genus of snout moths. Cool. I don't think that's the source. Homura means flame or blaze. Flame, mostly. Flame, flame, flame. Blaze, flame, or with some other set of kanji, it can mean beauty, excellence, surpass. As a word, the kanji for Homura refers to blaze or flame. Okay. Homura Akemi. Homura is very rarely given to girls, if given at all. Okay, so it's rare, makes sense. Now, does Akemi have any specific meaning? Akemi, unisex Japanese given name. Bright beauty, bright fruit. Bright sea, vermilion beauty, vermilion, not yet vermilion fruit, dawn beauty, bright fruit, daybreak view. So, like, bright flame, vermilion blaze, dawn blaze, blaze of dawn, those kinds of things. Flame and light and brightness, those are the associations with Homura Akemi. I don't know if it's gonna be significant. Homura doesn't really like use fire powers or anything like that. She doesn't really even burn anything up. Not even like symbolically burning her life to fix things or burning her memories or whatever. Burning her humanity? Kinda. She kinda is burning away her humanity with every pass she makes. Because she's going through so many tragedies and so many deaths and so many horrific, traumatizing events with every loop. And there's been who knows how many loops. And compared to how Homura is here, the way Homura is now, she is very, not very, but maybe very. She is in some amount dehumanized. Is what I try to say, right? She doesn't show emotions. She's very blasé about everything. She's very uncaring, seemingly. Doesn't give a fuck about deaths. Doesn't give a fuck about anybody but Madoka. That's the picture we see. We know that the truth might be different, and that's just facade. That facade broke on one occasion so far, but that means there's something underneath it. So maybe that's the meaning of blaze here? I don't know, I'm not sure. Find f of x. Oh, f from x. F of x, whatever. F of x would be in Polish. I love this shot. How the camera lingers on her hand. it's usually very. This kind of a shot is usually used for very dramatic effect, right? By dramatic effect, I mean some mad scientist is slowly raising a pen and then writing some mad formula on the wall, and this allows us to, I don't know, time travel, allows us to travel faster than light. This is the solution of the current crisis humanity is going through, right? That kind of thing. Or you have a character that raises again slowly their hand and writes on the chalkboard their name, and it's like a super well-known name that, haha, yes, it is indeed me, Kenji Okura, who's joined your class as a transfer student. You know, those kinds of vibes. This is very different. There is, sure, that tension, that bit of pathos, even to this, that tension mostly to this scene, to this shot. But then she proceeds to not write anything. She just starts to tremble. Immediately breaks the expectation of something big that's going to happen. She's going to write something significant there. Maybe she's a super genius, right? And she will solve it all. Just like that, immediately. No, it's the opposite. She's very shy. She has stage fright. She's not particularly athletic. She almost passed out during just the warm up. And all of that is getting to her. And despair takes place. And as we all know, witches feed on despair. So, of course, witches appear. This looks like a that gate that's in Berlin. I forgot the name of it. Azadel. And the enemies in this world are based on like notebook sketches. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. Not in those shots, but in one of those shots, you can even see that they are drawn with like blue ballpoint. Here, it's just blue ballpoint pen. And not the kind of a ballpoint pen that I like, that's like super sharp and thin. It's the kind that feels like you're writing with oil. It has the appeal, writing with a thick, uh, very thick ball in the ballpoint pen and with very like smooth, oily ink, but I prefer scratchy. But yeah, very much notebook sketches, and all of the things that just happened to Homura had to do with school, had to do with notebooks, tangentially. So yeah, that's cool. I like it. And here comes Madoka and Mami. Mami is immediately recognizable because of her flintlock. Rifled flintlock. And this pink Madoka. Madoka is pink. That's essentially all there is to it. And the glove. Madoka on all the promo art is wearing those gloves, so that was the giveaway. That this is indeed Madoka and Mami. I still have to wonder though, what was the wish that Madoka made here? I don't know. This is interesting. I think this is the first time we see Mami actually use her ribbons as ribbons. All the time she was using it, for what little time we knew her, she was using her ribbons to make flintlocks. Not as actual ribbons, actual strings. And yeah, Homura was saved by Madoka, and we're getting a lot of parallels, I feel, in this episode. This is a parallel to how Mami was explaining things to Sayaka and Homura. Now it's to Sayaka and Madoka. Now it's Mami and Madoka explaining things to Homura. Also, I love their trapezoid things. Not things. They have a name. Plates. Trapezoid plates. Mami is the veteran. Madoka hasn't been a magical girl for a particularly long time. We're saving people, so it's worth it. Yeah, very idealistic and whatnot, but what was Madoka's wish, though? Bow? We haven't seen much of her powers. But everybody's powers have to do with their wish. Somehow, at least. Somewhat. Mami's wish was to be tethered to life, so ribbons. Homura's wish was to go back in time, so time. Sayaka's wish was to heal Kyosuke. Why is she using swords then? I don't know. Healing factor. Yeah, she has a healing factor. Kyoko's wish was for her father to be heard, and thus a spear. Doesn't necessarily check out. But regardless, for Madoka a bow, what would her wish have to be? Reaching out, piercing, being able to reach even the furthest people, enemies, safety that comes with the range of a bow. Reach. Reach is the only thing that comes to mind. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna speculate because I don't have nearly enough to speculate on. Mami is dead. First one to die, seemingly, because I don't think in this timeline Sayaka is a magical girl yet. Nobody could find that thing alone. And yeah, Madoka is dead. She didn't become a she didn't become a witch though, which is interesting. Did she die before she managed to exhaust her soul gem? Does a witch not appear? Or was her soul gem destroyed? The destruction of a soul gem means a witch doesn't appear. So her soul gem might have been destroyed in the process. But this also begs a question, since Madoka is so insanely powerful, why was she not able to stand up to Walpurgisnacht? You'd think if there was anybody who would be able to defeat Walpurgisnacht alone, it would be Madoka. But apparently not. And yeah, that's how Homura makes her wish. Takes off the glasses. Also, I love the performance of Homura in this episode. Just thought I'm gonna mention that. Extremely convincing sobs and sniffles and screams. Mostly sobs. Super, like, well done and extremely convincing. Honestly. I don't usually mention the performance of voice actors, but this does deserve a mention. Yeah, that's the wish. I want to redo my first encounter with Kaname-san. So she gets Groundhog Day powers. And time powers. Tangentially, or maybe not tangentially, but in parallel to her wish. The wish is one thing, the powers you get are similar to the wish, but different. So her wish being go back in time to a specific point, and her powers are just time manipulation in the first place. Also, another a magical girl show where time travel is involved. uh, and yeah, in the process, she gets her shield clock thing, shield watch thing, and she goes back in time to the hospital. Leave hospital, go to school. A lot of confidence, approaching Madoka immediately. Honestly, a changed person. Like, incredibly so. Her first time skipping timeline. She's excited. Her friend is alive again. She doesn't necessarily care about the fact that nobody else knows about the fact that she just went back in time. She just kind of, maybe not takes it for granted, but is so excited to see Madoka again that she completely forgets about the appearances. And she is, of course, blushing in the background, weirded out, maybe not weirded out, but surprised, almost ready to say that girls can't love girls, that it's forbidden love. It's not. Girls can love girls, and anime proves that time and again. Unless they're pulling some, yeah, Yuri bait, which is regrettable most of the time. Not even most of the time, always. I love the mechanical design of her clock. It just opens. The mechanism, her soul gem. Her soul gem is protected like double, because not only is soul gem a very resistant, resilient thing, hers is also shielded. Yeah, and she just uses a golf club. Stumbles because it's her first time fighting, and she's wearing high heels. This is great. Wait, next one. Here, I love the effects of Homura's time control in general. The fact that she just blinks out of existence in a single frame, the fact that she appears out into existence in a single frame, and here, between frames, it happens. She touches it, makes contact with the barrel, and for the brief moment she makes contact, the barrel can move. Then it's frozen again. She makes contact again, off frame, and it moves again. Another bit of off frame contact, and it moves. Did she contact it? No, there was no contact. I love it. I love the effects of her time powers. Probably the best made time power, like, visuals and effects that I've seen, honestly. And she's just casually making pipe bombs. Those aren't even grenades or anything. Those are just pipe bombs. She probably has, like, what? Saltpeter, charcoal dust, and what else do you need to make black powder? Saltpeter, charcoal dust, and I think sulfur. Yeah, those are 3 main ingredients of black powder. And yes, you can find the instructions on the internet. Bombs. How to make bombs. Yeah, if you googled that, you would get an infinite amount of results. Very school-related witch. Serafuku, Patricia, and the whole thing with, like, upskirt shots. Kinda, I don't know. A lot of upskirt shots here. And clothes makes me think that, again, it's related to stealing clothes from the clotheslines, or looking up skirts, or clothes-related perversion, or something like that. I don't know. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because this witch is just a narrative tool at this point, really. Uh, the biggest giveaway that she is, I don't know, a just a narrative tool, is that it doesn't utilize the mixed media effects. I just noticed that. It's drawn in the style of Madoka Magica. There isn't anything special here. The clouds aren't made of scrap paper. Underneath her skirt isn't made of newspaper cutouts, right? The Sarafuku hanging on the clotheslines aren't, again, cutouts. The clotheslines aren't just photos of copper wire, right? Everything is drawn. That, I think, mostly shows as the insignificance of this witch. Using her ribbons. And Madoka uses a staff that can turn into a bow. Yeah. Basically, staff that can turn into a bow. That's some great combat visuals. Creating a bridge for Homura, and then Homura can stop time, run in, throw a pipe bomb underneath her skirt, and escape. I mean, if that's not an effective way to fight, I don't know what is. You stop the time, you pull the pin out of the grenade, put it in your enemy's pocket, walk away, unfreeze time. Done. And that was when Homura was the most happy of all time, and we are just approaching halfway through this episode. Jesus Christ, how long is this episode gonna be? Madoka's soul gem turned into a grief seed with a tiny bow on top. I love this accent. And she became a witch. And that's when Homura turned. Doesn't seem to me like it was like she willed herself to return. Seems to me like it happened automatically. We've all been fooled by Kyuubey. Yeah. Are you trying to turn us against each other or something? Sayaka is very standoffish here. I don't know. I don't like Sayaka in this timeline. Immediately throwing accusations, not even stopping to think for a moment. Just throwing around that, hey, you're trying to turn us against each other, projection much? Are you speaking to that Kyoko girl? I don't want to team up with her. Yeah, there are bombs and whatnot. No, I don't want her in our team. I don't know what Sayaka in this timeline has against Homura. I love this montage. Initially, I thought that Homura is just gonna grab the katana and is gonna try to fight in melee range, which she could. I mean, stop the time, slice, unfreeze the time, and the enemy falls apart, essentially. No! No! Because she would make contact by proxy. And as long as the blade would be in contact with the enemy would be able to move in her frozen time. Oh, that's great. She can't use melee weapons. We saw that with the golf club, because when whatever she holds makes contact with whatever she's hitting, the thing she's hitting, for a brief moment, for the moment of that contact, gets unfrozen. So she would have to be either like train super fast rapid stabbing, or she would have to use a gun. The most powerful magic of all. Also, I love the magic in this scene. Homura just picking guns, using her shield as a whatchamacallit? A bag of holding. Yeah, using it as a bag of holding essentially, or an inventory. If it was an isekai, this would be her inventory. Also, detail I didn't notice: the soul gem on her shield is half black. The bullet. Ah, yes, the most well-known company that makes bullets. The Bullet. She got a shotty. She got some bullets. And Sayaka turned into a witch. Which is interesting. Because in our current timeline, Sayaka turned into a witch. Mostly because of Kyosuke, sure. Also because of the realization that... No, wait. The chain of events that turned Sayaka into a witch was that she turned into a Mahou Shoujo to become... to save Kyosuke. Then Madoka was trying to stop her from becoming a magical girl, so she threw away her soul gem. That led to them learning about their souls being tied to the soul gems, not being inside of their bodies, part of their bodies. That started the whole spiral of despair for Sayaka. That made her reject the very notion of being able to be with Kyosuke, and that led her further down the spiral. Madoka is a Mahou Shoujo here, which means she didn't try to stop Sayaka, because why would she try to stop Sayaka? Why would she try to throw away her soul gem if she herself agreed to being a magical girl, right? They don't have all of the information, so the whole chain of events couldn't have happened. Why is Sayaka a witch then? Something else must have happened? Or perhaps she was just destined to go down this path. Perhaps Kyosuke chose the other girl, and that's what started the spiral for Sayaka, not her learning about the nature of magical girls. Or perhaps they have learned the nature of magical girls, but it was already after Madoka became one. I don't know. Time stop. And yeah, this time, since she uses bullets, it's not the thing that she's attacking that gets unfrozen. It's the bullet she's attacking with that freezes. And when she does unfreeze time, all the wheels are knocked aside. This is terrible. Yeah. This Sayaka became a witch. Homura gets tied. And Mami just fucking kills Kyoko. Just like that. Yeah, murder-suicide. If the soul gems give birth to witches, we can't have soul gems. We have to die to prevent witches from ever being a thing. If each of us is destined to become a witch, let's stop those witches from ever existing and just fucking kill ourselves. That's her argumentation here. Yeah, but she's doing it in the spur of a moment. But ultimately, of course, she's in the wrong, not just because she's killing her mm, fellow Mahou Shoujo, but also, even if every single one of them becomes a witch eventually, then if every single one of them destroys two other witches in the process, that's still a net positive for the world. 4 witches less in the world, or rather, 8 witches less than 4 witches more, so 4 less in total. But she's not in the state of mind to be doing calculations. And Mami gets killed by Madoka. In self-defense, essentially. And here we see that the effect of magic of the user fades as the user dies, which we knew very early when Mami died and Homura was freed. I'm slowly running out of things to drink. If it continues, I'm gonna have to pause the recording. Okay. They're going to fight again. It's the end for us too. Very poetic, very romantic. Do you want to become monsters together and just fucking destroy this rotten world? Just destroy, destroy, destroy until there's nothing left but dust. Destroy the world, destroy the witches, destroy Kyuubey, destroy everything. Because if we can't live in happiness, then what's the point of the world existing? And yeah, apparently she has one last grief seed. I wonder how many grief seeds they go through during each fight. You'd assume that before big fights like Walpurgisnacht, each of them would be stocked up on grief seeds. They would have like an ammo belt of grief seeds, right? Like a bandolier or whatever it's called. I need you to do something I can't. You can't change history so it doesn't end like this. And that's a promise. No matter how many times I have to try, I swear I will protect you. Homura's scream, her wail here is just... Jesus Christ. Like, peak. Honestly, peak. She wakes up again, doesn't even wait for anything, just gets out of the bed. Unties her hair, who has the time for that? Fixes her eyes, who has the time for glasses? No one can accept the future, so I will have to do everything myself. I will have to protect Madoka myself. I will kill all of the witches myself. I will defeat the Walpurgisnacht myself. I'm not going to get anybody else involved. And she's just using an MG. I love it. Roberta. This time I will stop the Walpurgisnacht with my own hands so that Madoka doesn't have to risk her life. But alas, Madoka really wants to protect you. You want to protect Madoka, sure, but Madoka also wants to protect you. And the ending music. Of course you can. Another great scream. A flash and Madoka and Meduka became Meguka. Again, all's for naught. destroyed Walpurgis Nacht with just one shot, but that caused her to turn. Freuhild? Fruhild? I don't know. Kruhild? Kruhild. Is that what it says? Kruhild? Kruhild Gretchen. Kruhild Gretchen. For a moment I had an association with Gretel, Hansel and Gretel, but no, it's Gretchen. Gretchen I know is a name, but I don't have any associations with it. I'm gonna try to translate it real quick. Krio. Okay, I'm just gonna alliterate. Krieuhild Gretchen. Kriemhild. That's an M. Okay, all of the links are leading to Madoka wikis and Reddit, so I'm not gonna read them. Kriemhild Gretchen on my waifu list. If that's your waifu, hey, I guess who am I to argue with your tastes? But what I really do want is to pop it into Google Translate. Great. Kriemhild Gretchen translates from German to English into Kriemhild Gretchen. Thank you for the translation. Okay, so I'm assuming that's just a name. Doesn't have any particular significance. And Madoka was turned into the biggest witch of them all. It will only take her around 10 days to destroy the entire planet. But oh well, that's mankind's problem. Also, this kind of... I spent a lot of time talking about how Kyuubey isn't actively lying. And I guess he isn't actively lying, but the lies of omission are plentiful. Because my initial view from the previous episode, when Kyuubey explained everything, was that okay, he does actually make some sort of sense. If there's like 20 people dying every year or every month or however often, and the price and that's the price for stopping the heat death of the universe, that's ultimately not that big of a deal. People have been making human offerings to their gods for much lesser things and with much less effect to them. But now we see that the consequence can be that the entire planet can actually fucking die. If Madoka turns into a witch, it's no longer a matter of 15 people a month turning into witches and maybe 50 others dying to the witch's shenanigans. It's the matter of the actual fucking planet dying, being destroyed. So I'm much less partial, much less understanding to Kyuubey's, to Incubator's plans, for sure. Now, at least. Now, of course, they don't have emotions and attachments and whatnot, so they don't give a fuck that humanity is going to die, that our planet is going to be destroyed, because there's plenty others in the universe, so what's one planet in the grand scheme of things? Huh. Yeah, I'm no longer this understanding of Kyuubey's plans, for sure. And Madoka. Homura goes back, and that's how we started. Homura chases after Kyuubey and meets Madoka. I'll relive the same time over and over, searching for the one way out, I'll find the one path that will save you from your fate of boundless despair. Madoka, my one and only friend. That's her motivation. Madoka, my one and only friend. And again, makes me believe that Homura is going to die in the next episode. Also, someone told me that I should read through the lyrics of the opening in this episode. So I guess I'm gonna pull those lyrics up. Okay, Japanese doesn't really work for me. I need the translation. Why does animelyrics.com need to redirect me? Okay. I won't forget the promises we exchanged. I close my eyes to affirm it. I will shake off the overwhelming darkness to move forward. That speaks of Homura a lot. I won't forget the promises we exchanged, right? The promise to not let any of that happen. I close my eyes to affirm it. Yeah. I will shake off the overwhelming darkness to move forward, the darkness of everybody dying, of everything being tragic. She has to keep her resolve to keep moving forward. When will I be able to see the lost future from here again? Let's move forward in this world by shattering the overflowing shadows of anxiety again and again. Time now begins to tick away incessantly. Let's open the closed door while carrying our unchanging feelings. There are friends in every timeline, unchanging feelings. Maybe. My heart awakens in order to depict the future, even if I come to a halt on a tough road. The beautiful blue sky always waits for me, therefore I'm not afraid. I won't be disheartened anymore, no matter what happens. Yeah, even through the toughest moments, there's always the vision of the future. There's always another chance. We can always make it work. I won't be disheartened. I'm not afraid because the end goal, the solution, the salvation awaits for me in the end, eventually. My friends were there when I looked back. They gave me a warm hug if they noticed. In the world where everything was distorted, this only trustable place was my salvation. Our feelings will be stronger by sharing our joy and sorrow. If my voice can reach you, I'm sure a miracle will happen. If I can stop you from becoming a Mahou Shoujo, maybe. Or something else. I won't forget the promises. Yeah. No matter how tall a wall there is, I will definitely cross over it. Pray for believing in tomorrow. While I was wandering in the collapsed world, I came to you as if I was drawn to you. My heart awakens in order to depict the future, even if I come to a halt on a tough road. Okay, yeah, the beautiful blue sky always awaits me. Those lyrics seem different. How long will it be before I see that lost future again? As many times as necessary. Yeah, repeating and repeating and repeating. The clock that's endlessly ticked away. Now tells of the beginning. Let's open the once closed door. With these unwavering feelings. The beautiful blue sky will always be waiting for me no matter what happens next. I won't give in. Yeah, that's... Who's singing it? That's not Oyuki, is it? I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up, actually. I can't really discern voices all that well. Madoka Magica on AniList, and I want the staff. Theme song lyrics, theme song arrangement, composition. Theme song composition, theme song lyrics. Theme song performance. Oh, Aoi Yuki performs the ED. The OP is Clarice. Whoever is Clarice. And there are also other endings. ED3, ED4. Clarice, that's just a band that made openings and endings for many shows. Opening for Magia Record, for Licorice Recoil, for Beatless Eromanga Sensei, Hataraku Saibo ending, Nisekoi OVA theme song, Nisekoi OP, Oreimo. Okay. So it's no one in particular singing. It's not like it's Homura's VA who's singing that. But it's also not like it's Madoka's VA who's singing that. So it's very neutral. You can't necessarily glean who's singing to whom from the lyrics alone and from who's performing it. But it does seem like it would be Homura singing to Madoka. Okay. That's gonna be it. An hour and 26 minutes in. That was episode 10. Very an episode very like ripped out of the whole because we are going back to the original timeline and going through all the timelines with Homura accompanying her. Explains a lot of things, explains Homura a lot, and explains, or rather shows, just how dangerous Walpurgisnacht is. We haven't been shown a single timeline where the Walpurgisnacht would end with magical girls winning. There was one where Walpurgisnacht was destroyed by a single shot from Madoka, but apparently that single shot took so much power from her that it instantly darkened her soul gem and turned her into a witch. That is what I'm assuming happened. So, and in the previous episode ended on Homura deciding to go alone against Walpurgisnacht. So we already know, right from the get-go, when the next episode arrives, that will probably be the beginning of Walpurgisnacht. We already know that Homura can't possibly hope to solve the issue of Walpurgisnacht alone. She just cannot. She's unable to. But she will try to protect Madoka. And I think it will end in a parallel to the initial timeline, where initially it was Madoka who went into battle while Homura was emotional and crying, and then Madoka died, and Homura cried over her body and then agreed to be a magical girl to turn back time. My assumption is that we will see the exact same thing, except with the roles reversed. Homura is going to go into battle. Madoka will be very emotional and sappy about it and crying mess. Homura will die, Madoka will be crying over her dead body, and Madoka will agree to become a Mahou Shoujo. Now the only question is her wish. Because if her wish is to just revive Homura or go back in time, they could potentially completely swap places. We could have the half of the next episode be beat for beat what happened in this episode, mostly, but it's Madoka trying to stop Homura from becoming a magical girl instead. That would be interesting. but I don't think we're gonna go in that direction. I think Madoka's wish will have something to do with fixing the way things are. In general, in broad terms, Madoka's wish is going to be about maybe stopping entropy, maybe about bringing magical girls their humanity and restoring all of the magical girls that have died so far. Maybe about making sure that the situation with the entropy and the witches and the magical girls was never a thing. Or something or something along those lines. We know that Madoka's wish has infinite potential, so she could wish for essentially anything, and her wish would be granted. What will she wish for, though? Right? The question remains. The question remains. But then again, if Homura dies, does she go back in time? Or is she dead? There wasn't a timeline that we've seen where Homura would die or be so much on the brink of death that she would be unable to turn back time like willingly. So she probably has to be alive to turn back time. I don't think we have enough time left in those 2 episodes to go through another timeline to speedrun through it. So yeah, I think Homura is actually going to die in the next episode. Mm-hmm. And Madoka will be the one to pick up her mantle, so to speak. But it will end differently than in that one timeline where Madoka destroyed the Walpurgisnacht with a single shot and then became a witch herself. How will that happen? I don't know. Will that happen? I don't know that in the first place. But we shall see. We shall see in the next episode. But yeah, this episode being a callback to how things were, showing us all the timelines, definitely tells me that episodes 11 and 12 will be of much significance. Will truly be the end game. And I want to check one more thing. Is Madoka actually a 12 episode show, or does it have 13 episodes per chance? Madoka Magica, 12 times 24. Okay, 12 episodes. So we only have 11 and 12 to go. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it here. I don't have anything more to say, but maybe you do. If you do have something more to say on about this episode, my theories, my reaction, stuff like that, as long as it's not spoilers, tell me about it in the comments. If it is in the spoiler territory, join my Discord, link here, link in the description. There's a Madoka Magica channel there where you can talk about anything Madoka you want as long as you use spoiler tags, because I don't read those. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Madoka Magica but also Symphogear, Sword Isekai, the Novice Alchemist, what else am I watching? Gundam Witch from Mercury, and some other shows that I will be covering. There's the Akiba Maid that I'm gonna have to pick up one day. There's the Eminence in the Shadows that I'm gonna have to start. Life's been crazy recently. I don't even have a schedule, like a good and proper. But yeah, subscribe to be notified. You don't have to follow the schedule if you get notifications and you click the bell icon and you know when things are coming out. Regardless, support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne. On Patreon, you can get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka, like Symphogear for just $10 a month, and others. And for just a single dollar, you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better lighting, better camera, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever but still want to help the channel, share my content, spread the word. It really does help the channel a lot. Over 5% of you come here from Reddit, for example. So it does have a tangible effect on the viewership. And with that, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only you so desire.